Hello my friends and welcome. This is my level 1 playthrough I've decided to start posting on our little channel as a series. I will not be leveling up my character traditionally using runes. However, I will be leveling up weapons and using gear to increase my stats. I started off by grabbing the Sentinel dagger. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I picked up the imp helmet as a drop. None of these have great significance as far as my build goes. I do have an idea of what will work, but honestly, I'm not sure how well. I basically plan on just exploring and picking fights with everything I can. Starting off, we have the Mad Pumpkinhead. He's not so bad, as you can see. Even without a shirt on, I can take multiple hits and survive. I do get greedy as fuck a few times and still manage to win. The inside of the helm is pitch black, keeping the crazed warrior within from panicking. Perhaps its rather roomy interior also helps alleviate feelings of pressure and claustrophobia. The Grave Warden is substantially harder than the Mad Pumpkin for me, but also a lot funner to fight. Can't wait to try some of the harder variants later on in the game. I have the quick step, but I'm not the greatest at using it. I get the job done, but there's much harder fights ahead. Level 1 runs have been somewhat of a tradition for me in the Souls games. I've managed to complete the Souls trilogy along with Bloodborne as a one bro. Not to say that's going to help much here. After completing Elden Ring for the first time, I was actually thinking a Soul level 1 run might be impossible for me. However, I'm pretty stubborn, determined. I'll see how far I can make it without summoning any spirits. However, at a certain point, I know I'm going to need my doggos, or whichever ash I can use, given my meager FP pool. There is an option of a physic mixture to allow summoning any ash regardless of FP, so that might come into play at some point. Until I get hung up on a hard boss, I'll just brute force my way through. I can't say enough good things about Flames of the Redmane. Aside from doing an insane amount of poise damage, it also delivers some really reliable fire damage. It has a low FP cost and comes off very fast. It's also excellent for crowd control. The only issue I've noticed is you need to either lock on or tilt your camera to aim the flames. Otherwise you might end up just lighting some Erd flowers on fire instead of the enemy. For this portion of the playthrough, I used the forked hatchet. There wasn't any planning involved, it just dropped and I was able to wield it with my meager stat allocation. As a bonus, it has bleed buildup and it swings wicked fast. I'm sure it's not the optimal weapon early on, but it's the one I have and it does work. However, the reach definitely won't satisfy everyone. I'm mostly trying to highlight the fights and bosses, rather than showing you 15 minutes of Torrent's ass. I did, however, spend time running dungeons to collect upgrading mats and whatever else I could find. I grabbed many golden seeds and ritual tears in order to upgrade my healing. This troll fight really showcases the power of the flame. Not only does the flame take chunks out of the Stone Digger, but just 2 hits also breaks his posture, leaving him vulnerable for criticals or burst attacks. It's really the bread and butter for me early on in this run. Of course there'll be enemies and bosses that are basically immune, so it will take a variety of approaches to deal with all these obstacles. As far as talismans go, I ran and grabbed the Source Seal from Fort Farith. Until I beat Margit, that is the only slots I have for talismans. I do anticipate talismans being a big part of the build. Having the ability to add stats is going to be crucial to using specific weapons. I ran through Murkwater to open up patches as a merchant, knowing he sells the shackle for Margit. I even save up the runes and purchase it. However, I'm pretty sure as you'll see coming up, I completely forget to use it. It's an item I always intend to try out, but time after time, I have failed to employ. I also purchased the parrying dagger, thinking it might be a good tool against some bosses. So far, this fight with the Watchdog has been the most annoying. I died once or twice. Even here when I beat him, I'm definitely not very crisp. I'm basically frantically trying to rid the room of the imps, so I can fight the goddamn cat dog. Still nothing the Flame of the Redmane can't handle, and soon I collect my runes and I'm on my way. I decided to take on the Tree Sentinel, the one by the Church of Ella. Now I know from the item description, the golden halberd he's swinging requires 30 strength and reads, a masterfully crafted weapon that lives up to its heft, but is difficult for one of mere human strength to wield. However, I found his shield was also a killer. Not only did he mash me to death several times with it, it's capable of absorbing the flame of Redmane, rendering my posture-breaking doom into a weapon of the enemy. However, this occurrence is seldom, and in fact I didn't even capture any footage of it. Even with a good amount of experience fighting him, I still miss dodges and get greedy, leading to multiple deaths. Something I'm very used to, but a bit discouraging when I think about the in-game bosses and what level of finesse it will take to achieve victory. Overall, I had a blast fighting the Sentinel. With my leveled up equipment, he went down fairly easy. He's an epic beginning to an epic journey. I would prefer to preserve any cheese tactics until very late in the game if possible, along with spirit summons. I would prefer to at least engage the enemy as opposed to just using poison or gravity. I'm not saying I'm above using these tactics. I've had a lot of fun employing them throughout the Souls games. However, this is a challenge run to seek out difficult bosses and an attempt to learn how to combat them directly. If I hit a roadblock, I will apply any means necessary to advance, but not until giving it a valiant effort. I'm guessing or hoping that most if not all these roadblocks can be cleared by summoning spirit ashes. Only time will tell. That leads me to something that's been bothering me a bit, and it kind of gives the core Souls community a bad rep. Players accusing other players of cheesing the game. It's become a joke of its own at this point, with comments online like, "It's cheesing if you use your thumbs." I know some folks out there probably consider Flames of the Redmanes cheap. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I do know that this is a video game. So please, let's just all keep that in mind. There are players that can enjoy certain playstyles. It's okay. The main thing to consider is, are they having fun playing a game? I understand the rich experience these titles often become when a player ascends Scrubhood, where instead of over-leveling, maybe they take on the boss that's at its intended level to push their own skill level. But it's really no one's place to tell us as a community how to play the game. There are certain aspects it behooves us all to agree on. As an example, meta PvP level is important to help foster a busy and varied PvP pool. But that's a discussion for a different video. This is the Erdtree Avatar, formerly known as the Asylum Demon. I believe I'm on the Weeping Peninsula, just collecting loot and exploring a bit. It's where I found this fashionable turtle shell shield that happens to function much like the grass crest shield from Dark Souls. These shields boost your stamina regeneration rate, allowing more flailing around in any set amount of time. With its Ash of War active, it also blocks a ton of damage while blocking. The Ash of War can be swapped, and the shield can be buffed as well. It's a fairly low weight shield that has a nice passive effect. As I was clearing the Weeping Peninsula, I stumbled upon the Earthbore Cave. At first it seems like a pretty nice little cave, until I found myself face to fur with the Rune Bear. I'm not trying to make this fight seem difficult, but for me it was hellish. This volatile carnivore would often close immense distances almost instantly, leaving little time to gain any composure against the onslaught of horrible camera perspectives. To make matters worse, it felt like he often would push me against the wall. I'll admit my bouts with the bear were far from graceful, but without too much hassle, I overwhelmed the Rune Bear with the sacred flames of the Redmane, and secured victory. Oh yeah, somewhere along the way I found a tunic of sorts. Just a temporary garb I can secure something more fitting of Elden Lord later. Next I make my way to the infamous stairs leading to Margit the Fell. I somewhat had a leg up on Margit, due to the amount of times we waged war over the last month, but he still had me panicked, and searching for opportunities to introduce him to my ensemble of death. Without much resistance, he was overwhelmed by the sheer destructive power of the immaculate sacred flames of the Redmane. So I ventured forth, in search of the real villain behind Stormvale proper, in the climax of this video. I found this cool lever, which seems a bit familiar. I perished grotesque abominations deserving only death. I failed to avoid getting ganked by pursuing enemies, and at last I arrived at the Master's doorstep, a secluded cell, my final respite before certain death. although I initially received ass-kickings from his axes. Even Godrick the Grafted freak's overabundance of knees buckle upon the flame's magnificence. Thanks for watching to the end. As always, have fun and stay safe, my friends.